Greetings, everybody. Welcome to Legacies of Caine, a Vampire the Masquerade show. So, for those of you who are new to joining us out there, of course, yes, we're playing Vampire the Masquerade. We're doing V20, and if you've been missing this storyline, well, there's been a lot of adventures. Globe-trotting, searching for a bunch of chalices, 3 of them to be sure, and now, in order to help unlock the secrets of the chalices, going on a little bit of another world tour, and meeting with some people, convincing them
Chalice
to come
from
to
the palace is the brew that is true.
Exactly. Convincing them to meet at a certain place. And now our group is going to Japan.
I think that's right.
Oh yeah, I think we just got to Japan, right? Like, we just got a hotel.
I think you just got a hotel, and that's kind of where we ended it. So you're in Japan.
Leslie showed me his magic trick.
Mm-hmm. So
Look at my weird black goop.
yeah, you're in a hotel in Japan. The idea is you're going to contact the Japanese kuei-jin, the Japanese Eastern vampires. Through them, you're going to get connections with the kuei-jin of Korea, get permission to head to Korea, meet with them, and get permission to meet with the vampires that are under their protection, which are the Nagaraja, which are the flesh-eating vampires. So it's a lot of, like, politicking in the eastern, the kuei-jin realm in order to get to talk to who you need to. Previously, I think we had found out a couple of the people that we were going to talk to. But before we get into the details of who you may or may not be able to talk to and who might be able to help you, let's see how all the characters are doing. Let's start with, let's start with Nathan. How's Nathan doing?
Nathan is actually feeling reasonably confident, as politicking is what he does. But he doesn't speak Japanese, so that's probably going to suck.
Mm-hmm. And let's see how Emil is doing with work.
Who is this new guy, and why is he saying that I'm, gosh, what? I'm trying to think about, what? It's like...
Placement.
Yeah, I'm the replacement, but I think also something about me not being helpful or something.
Probably. Maybe.
I recall saying nothing of the sort. How dare.
I'm trying to remember.
I might have called you a replacement.
Yeah, you did call me a replacement, that I know.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like, I'm not a replacement.
I'm my own thing.
You have a very specific set of skills.
Skills that make me a nightmare for people like rah 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 rah.
And then, of course, we have Umber as Leslie. How's Leslie doing?
Leslie is feeling absolutely wonderful. Thank you.
Excellent.
He's
Good to
back
hear.
with his friends. Or
Yes.
friends in quotation marks, depending. Not sure. They replaced him. He feels hurt.
Oh.
Yeah, just a
I
little.
did get you a new suit, though.
True. Leslie likes Nathan. Who am I kidding? Leslie loves Dawn still. As a friend. Like a sister, but not quite a sister.
Wow.
Dawn makes people smile.
And then, of course, we do have Jess as Dawn.
Dawn is really happy Leslie's back and also really terrified he's gonna leave again. And because
Oh,
of his...
don't do this to me!
And
Yeah.
and with Ryan being like, yeah, no, you might summon some creepy shit. She's gonna sleep outside of the door that Leslie's been sleeping in, so nothing gets him in the middle of the night.
Oh my
Okay.
god. Jess, don't do this to me. I don't have the emotional capacity for this right now.
Yep. So, upon arriving in Tokyo, you did learn a few of the players that are in town, so to say. One of the main players is the Tremere. They've managed to get some headings here, and at least in Tokyo and in Japan. And Preston Varick is their main regent, the person in charge of the area. You also learn of Mayumi Shibasaki, who is a Semiche of the older clan variety. So, like, she's tracing from the bloodlines that your good friend would come from. Your good friend in Britain, in London. So you know that she's been a powerful fixture in the city too, for the actual vampire end. As for Kuei-jin, you learned that one of the major figures is Hikari, who is of the clan Bishamon, who is in the Imperial Palace. Very difficult to talk to, but is probably the top person. There are two main factions within Japan, the clan of Genji and clan of Bishamon. And Bishamon, you learned, are a little bit more traditional, and Genji are a little bit more modern culture related. Granted, there are also some other smaller groups, but one of them that would be great to talk to, but you probably couldn't get directly in contact with, is Ichizen, who are a type of craftsman also, but they work with the Green Courts, who are the Korean Kuei-jin. So you can either, whether or not you're going to go talk to some of the locals of your kind, or you're going to directly try to talk to some of the houses, the clans that are here. Up to you how you're going to go about it. But that's kind of where you'd found all this information out. You have an idea of who the major players in at least Tokyo are.
In our notes, it looks like Ryan is making the rounds of those that we would not have as easy a time talking to.
Yes, he's attempting to contact the changing elites of the town.
Yep, and we, it looks like, are supposed to go meet with Preston.
Yep. You had arranged to meet with Preston Varick. Alright. So we'll start out with that today. That sounds like a great place to go into. So,
oh, yes.
You'll be given access to, very much so because you are kindred, and effectively you are, there is no Prince of Tokyo, but as the regent of this area, you very well could give some good words to Preston. So talking to him first, he's allowing you access to the Shamir Chantry. You're guests in Tokyo, and you're obviously contacting them very early on for coming in. The Chantry itself is I would call it a newer building. It's not like an old building you'd find in Europe, and or modeled after like an old building like you'd find in America, like the Tremere like to use. This would be like a small, like 3-story office building, except it looks like the windows have been kind of like closed up a lot with dark curtains, so you can't really see into them. And the business on the outside says that they are a media company. At least that's what the translation says.
Okay.
Of course, you'll see a swarthy-skinned man will kind of greet you in a small kind of like opening little office area on the downstairs. It'll kind of lead into a room where it's very nondescript and looks very business-oriented, like a little like check-in office that's on the bottom floor. Kind of through like a side door, so there's not like a main door into it. It's like kind of like a small door to the side. That seems to be kind of just the general design of the building, or the design of the building as they took it over. Can I help you? Well, he'll say something in Japanese first, and then he'll try English.
Sadly, my education has not extended to Japanese.
Well, the majority of those that visit tend to be one of the other two languages.
Makes sense.
Well, can I help you? Who are you? Why are you here? Do you have some business with our company?
Not currently. No business with the company that I'm aware of. Although, we were informed that you were of the highest status among those more or less aligned with the Camarilla. And
So you have business for Preston. Do you have an appointment?
I believe so, yes.
Excellent. I'll contact him.
Ah.
Feel free to actually go in behind me down the hall, kick the stairs up, and there should be a waiting room up there for you. Down here on the bottom floor is all our public face.
Fair enough.
You'll easily walk up into, like, once you get onto the second floor, you can see that there's definitely been a redesign to the building. Like, the bottom floor feels like very much more like a very sterile office building. But upstairs, as soon as you get up there, you can see that, like, rather than just the cement and steel, like, woodwork has been installed. The areas now, like all of a sudden at the top of the floor, you feel like you're now in the waiting room of, like, a small, like, quaint European building. You know, it's got this feeling of just general old world European feel that they've kind of installed into it.
Makes sense. Classic.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of looks like the stuff we saw in England.
Kind of like that.
We shouldn't burn this. Or at least try. It's nice.
You'll see a few people, like, kind of either leave or come in. All look to be of... Only a few look to be of Asian descent. Most of them seem to be, at least a good chunk of them, that are currently heading in and out, seem to be of either European or other areas of the world descent. Again, it's hard to tell, just because it's, you know, you kind of tan skin, you're kind of white, you're, you know, that doesn't really say a lot, unless you, like, inquire with them.
True. Are there places to sit, or...
There's, like, a little, like, waiting area.
Shall we?
Yeah. You'll be able to...
That's it.
You're going to be left to sit for, like, maybe an hour. There'll be some books here. They seem to be actually in a variety of different languages. There seems to be a good chunk of them that are written in Japanese. Some of them that are written in other, like, Asian languages. You can tell they're a different Asian language, but it's like, I'm not sure which this is, kind of thing, you know. Because some of those Asian languages are quite distinct from each other.
Any in English?
There are two in English. One of them seems to be like a scientific journal, like a book on, like, different chemicals and, like, their uses, practical uses in the modern day, kind of thing.
And what's the other one?
The other one seems to be a newer book that's describing baseball teams from around the world. It seems to highlight a bunch of ones in the U.S., but it also talks about, like, where baseball is, like, in other places in the world, including in Japan and here.
I'll read that.
Okay. After a while, a kind of a tall, kind of a well-dressed European man will kind of get in with, like, kind of like short hair, kind of like swathed, like, kind of like back. Kind of almost a greased back, suit and tie. He'll kind of adjust himself as he goes. So, you are Nathan, yes?
Indeed.
Excellent. Come with me. We'll speak. I have a small office off to the side here.
I gesture to the three others. Room for all of us?
At least one of you will have to stand, maybe two of you. But if you want to all come, that's fine.
Excellent.
I stand in the back.
Who else got back?
Okay.
Someone gets a chair.
That's right.
Well, thank you for checking in here. Very few of our kind head into Japan as a whole, even in Tokyo. And even those that visit, rarely do they check in with probably the highest ranking of our group here in city. Granted, I am not akin to a prince here. I'm the regent of this group of Tremere.
Hmm.
But it's nice for someone to stop by and say hi at least.
Indeed.
Polite.
Raised with propriety.
So
And I encourage them.
what
among
brings you to Tokyo? What can I help you with that you're obviously here for? Because maybe again, if I can help you, you can help me.
That seems to be the way of things in the world, doesn't it? I'm looking for a meeting, connections with some people in Korea.
All right.
And I understand that the main person to talk to would be Hakari of the Bishamon. And as the most powerful Camarilla figure in the city, I imagine that you would have ways of at least getting word to him or have some passing knowledge of him.
Knowledge, yes. Word, maybe. The thing about Hakari is that he's, as you said, of the House of Bishamon. Bishamon are very traditionalists. They don't necessarily like our kind being in the area. They, at most, tolerate us.
I imagine you get along better with the Genji then.
Of course. It's through them that we were able to make our connections and our builds here. Staying on good terms with the Genji is the best way that you can be to exist here. They realize that there's a global market to all things, and keeping us out is just breaking down the global market completely. It's not to say that there are other groups that would be willing to make trade or discuss with you, but usually you have to make nice with one group, either the Genji or the Bishamon, before you'd make nice with any of the other groups.
Makes sense. It seems that you would then recommend that we make nice with the Genji.
Well, if that's what you're looking for, some kind of meetings, they are the ones I would recommend first. But depends on what you're looking for. You said you're trying to get connections in the Korean market. I don't need to have details about what you're going into. But, the Green Court doesn't necessarily take kindly to outsiders. Not to say that individuals can't come in, but our kind are pretty much unknown of in Korea. Let me put it that way.
All right.
And even those that are there are odd bunches. Look, I could maybe send some messages out to individuals. If you just want an introduction, that's easy. That's not something that'll cost you anything. Small introductions. Names dropped here. Easy thing. It'll be up to you to convince anybody of anything. Throwing my own name around, that's a different cause. I can message to you. Anybody. I could message out about Hikari if you wanted to. Whether or not you would get some kind of response back, I don't know. That's a tough one.
And of course, in speaking for us so directly, your reputation would then, of course, hinge on our behavior.
Of course.
Or not hinge, but...
If I would put my name out there, I would need for you to be the best of respect for it.
Well, I hope that my conduct currently is setting a good first impression.
You've been polite enough to come and say hi to me directly. Closest thing, again, to someone in charge around these parts.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, there are other individuals that should be on the lookout. Depending on if you want to be friendly or not, that's up to you completely.
All right. So, what might I help you with to encourage your trust in myself and my companions?
You seem to do your research in the Uji here in Japan, in Tokyo. I'm sure you've heard of some of the other groups, yes?
If you're talking about obviously the Genji, the Bishamon, and the Ichizen, yes. I believe there is one of Old Sumich who resides here.
The Ichizen are known for being great at what they do. Craft. If you are to be looking to just talk with them, which it sounds like it would be on your radar, since they oftentimes work with the Korean side of things, maybe you could get a deal for us. The kind of items they can make can easily be used in our rituals. Create our various types of talismans and such. One of the things we've been experimenting with here, of course, you should understand, is we're meeting East and West here. Understanding them is maybe understanding a deeper level of our own abilities. Nothing that you would understand if I break it down any more than that. But suffice it to say, it's a known fact that that's what we're investigating here.
All right.
East meets West. And this is a great way of getting some more. Them make something for us, we use it with our things, make something a little that mixes both. Something unique, something new. Getting friends with them is something that I have actually had as a goal. So you help me. If you need their help, you need their connections, you might delve deeper. I've been keeping on the down low as possible as much. My experience has told me to keep things slow. In the last 30 years, has been slow. But now, you are possibly an opportunity to speed things up a little bit, not at my own expense.
Of course. What have been the obstacles, I suppose, for you up to this point, aside from the general prejudice, I suppose, against outsiders?
Ichizen is a minor Uji. They keep to themselves. It's hard to meet with any members of them. And when you meet with one, you're technically meeting with all of them, as they're such a small group. Being a minor, small, independent group, means that they, when they make deals with others, it's because of their abilities. Now, that's not to say there aren't other minor Uji around, but many of them, a few of them, are aligned with some of the bigger houses. Or, if they're independents, like the Ichizen, well, they have their place, and it keeps them out of the radars of the larger groups. Think of it like a little bit like our Camarilla. They get along peacefully here, no open wars, but there's still competitions between the groups. Same within the Camarilla. Everybody's vying for power. You should know that by the politics of what's going on. Each clan wants a bit more of the pie.
I did quite like pie. Very well. Would you be able to get us a meeting with the Ichizen?
Unfortunately, not directly with them. Ichizen are going to be something you're going to have to figure out a way yourself. But if you can get a connection with them and send something our way, consider any debt that you have for anything I will help you with here paid.
Very well. Unless there's anything else you require.
As of right now, that's the best thing I could say. All I really need. There are plenty of things out there that would be helpful, but nothing quite as useful.
Well, could you also drop names, as you suggested earlier, with the Genji?
I have a good friend in contact within the Genji, Mr. Tanaka. Mr. Tanaka, well, he happens to have some connections in the corporate world, pretty big in the house. He would definitely be someone that if I would spread the word about him, would be helpful for you. That you would be looking to speak with some important people. Is he the one that's going to help you? That I can't say for sure. At the very least.
All right.
If you need a meeting, I can probably arrange with you. Just be careful. You're going to need a translator. He doesn't speak English.
That does not entirely surprise me.
I'd also try to arrange a translator that is in the know. You know what I mean?
And do you have a recommendation where I might find such a translator?
Well, unfortunately, everyone in my clan has been pretty busy. But you seem to have also know of some of the other locals. There is the other one. She might be able to find someone for you. We're on good terms with her. Usually.
Well, as my goals involve currently exclusively talking, I would very much like to keep that the case.
Shibasaki. Sure you heard the name?
Yep, Mayumi, I believe.
Oh yeah. You can try talking to her. She might know a few types. There are always some independents, or randos in town that might know enough. I also heard that a large contingent of Ravenous is moving in.
I'd heard that there were plans on the way. but that they had not yet begun.
Few seem to have shown up a bit earlier from whatever is going on with that. Only be able to question a few of them. Seems like there's word out there that maybe India is not so hot right now.
I've heard that India is quite warm most of the year.
I was about to make that joke.
Jesus. Leslie no longer listening.
Perhaps I can use my resources to learn more about this group of Ravnos coming in. And perhaps that would be of worth to you as well.
Very well could be. I think anybody that knows about new folks coming in would be curious about them. Especially when it seems like they've got some powerful backing. At least within the local kuei-jin community.
Indeed.
Strangely enough, not sure which Uji's working behind them.
Interesting. Well, if we can find sufficient information on that, perhaps we can pass it along as part of our debt. Or to offset the debt.
Might help.
Thank you very much for your time, Mr.
Sure.
Bear.
If you've any more questions or anything else that you might need assistance with, I'll be here. Just make sure to give a call ahead of time.
Of course. Shall we go? Guys?
Indeed.
Hang on, I've nearly finished this level of Candy Crush.
What is Candy Crush?
Oh, you're
That's
gonna
where you
love
take
it.
pieces of candy and you squish them
I'm
very
really good
thoroughly
at it.
together.
That does seem like something you'd be good at, Dawn, yes? Leslie's gonna head out.
Yep,
Okay.
I follow.
I'll take off as well.
Okay. What's your plan now?
Well, after we get out, and we get presumably into a rented car, or just walking. I look around. You know what would be incredibly convenient if we could all learn a language in perhaps the ancient language. Now that you've impressed your crush, Dawn.
Yes.
Perhaps you could teach that to us so that it's easier to discuss things unobserved.
But then I don't have the advantage on Leslie.
Ah, but you would because you did it first.
As if you had one to begin with, my dear.
Okay. I'm just saying, she fought in a war in men's clothing. I got major gay vibes, okay? Look. I might be wrong, and that's okay. But my radar is dinging.
I thought they called that.
Alternatively, she may be another practitioner of swinging both ways.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
if
true,
you're
but I'll
both
crush my
if you're
dreams.
both incredibly lucky, perhaps she's polyamorous. I believe they tended to be back in those days.
I'm not very good at sharing.
Nor I.
Well,
Yeah. Okay, whatever. I'll teach you guys.
anyhow,
We're just sitting there like, oh, fuck, so this is what's going on.
Nah, I mean, I'm just like, I feel like there was a conversation that just went way over my head.
Yep.
It's like
Basically,
Crash.
Vitamin is Bay, and that's all you need to know.
Yeah, Fighter May is Bay.
And like,
Leslie and
talking
Dawn
about
both have
someone?
as large of a crush as a vampire can have on another on VtM.
Yeah.
Got it.
Meanwhile, Nathan agrees that VtM is bade ass, but is not particularly interested in her for the potential pleasures she might give.
Seen those arms, those thighs. She could crush a man's head. It is wonderful.
It would be wonderful if I was in need of a man's head to be crushed. And currently, I don't think Charles is sufficiently set up.
New plan. That's how we kill Charles.
I am very
A
much for
mule
this,
to
however, we need to
lure
make
him
sure
out.
that it is incredibly deniable.
Yeah. I mean,
So, double
What if-
date and then have something go wrong?
I was to say, Emil, how likely is it if you asked Charles out on a date that you would accidentally turn into a mare and floor him to death? Is that like a possibility that could happen?
Sadly,
if the restaurant
I mean,
had
unless
candles?
if you, I was about to say, if you light me on fire, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, the restaurant just got lit on fire. Whoops.
Let's plan for another time.
Yes. So, shall we go visit Ms. Shibasaki?
Will you find a translator for?
Candace, what are you rolling for? I see that.
I may
What
have.
are you doing there, Mr. DM?
Actually, that was probably not the correct number of dice. I was rolling
And why are there 7 successes on whatever you just rolled there, Mr.
horseback
DM?
riding from 5 to May.
Because 6, 8,
Oh,
9,
it's
9,
all
9,
right
9, 9,
with
10,
us.
10.
Yeah.
Suddenly,
Sorry, she was supposed to roll a lot more dice because I forgot that she has a bajillion celerity.
Flipping her hair in the wind as the sun is
Uh-huh.
set.
She lifts
Leslie
us
and
both
Dawn both
into one
swoon.
Nathan goes, in the car? So,
Let's go see Miss Shibasaki. Also, I spaced a little bit. Why are we seeing Miss Shibasaki?
she might be able to provide us with a translator.
Mr. Tanaka only speaks Japanese,
Yes.
and you'll need a translator for that. He will not
And
provide one because it would be rude for him to. If it's polite for you to provide one, effectively, you know.
And Mr. Tanaka is. I spaced hard.
Tanaka is a vampire, I believe.
He is a kuei-jin, a member of House Genji.
Crap.
House Genji is the kuei-jin who are involved in the corporate culture of Japan. So they're very modern in comparison to many of the other kuei-jin. They're the top ones that if you're looking for someone who's like big on modern day society, that is the group you want to go into.
Understood.
Mhm. Modern day being like post 1800s.
Yes. The Bishamon are very traditionalist, but they understand. Like, the Bishamon are at least reasonable, that you can probably get along with them at, like, you know, we want to keep tradition. I understand adapting it a little bit to modern society. There are groups that are, like, super conservative amongst the Uji, the Japanese kuei-jin clans.
But they haven't seen as much success as the other two, presumably because
Well, you
they
know,
are incredibly limited.
one of them, let me put it this way, is a minor group that its entire idea is to return to imperial rule and be even more conservative in the traditional ways.
Look, if the crafters and if we meet them, I am asking if they make katanas.
They probably would do.
I imagine
Well, one of them will. They are specifically a group of master craftsmen.
Yes. Sword collection is growing.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, while we are there, it might be worthwhile avoiding mentioning the connection between us and VtM, as we then could ask her about Kuei-jin, without necessarily suggesting her association with VtM. If that is not known, perhaps they do not want it known.
I would rather not name drop her, yeah. Let's not look that backwards.
So, I don't mind name dropping her, as we did in fact meet in Hawaii this past summer.
Oh yeah, okay. I thought her name sounded familiar.
You know that Keui-jin was part of, from what your knowledge is, she was part of a multi-ethnic kuei-jin operation to get a footing home in the U.S., particularly the West Coast.
Right. But she'd gotten that because of her status in Tokyo.
Keui-jin did not get that because of status in Tokyo. She doesn't have a status in Tokyo.
Ah, okay.
She has connections because she has connections with someone that you don't, an unnamed person that is from that region. Effectively, like, Keui-jin was like, look, you know, after having a discussion with VtM and Dracovin, effectively was like, yeah, sure, we can find something a little better for you to help you unite your clan together. Probably want to go to Japan. This person here I can set you up with. He's a friend of mine, has good connections. He's another one of this group that's from all the different Asian countries that's trying to settle in the U.S. Because effectively, the kuei-jin are very good at, like, fighting across country borders, very much so. But when it came to spreading to the U.S., they were like, united front. Because, you know, East versus West a little bit. You know, they were able to put aside their... Because, like, consider in Japan, like, it's like a Camarilla there, but almost like you would consider, like your Sabat maybe to be the Chinese kuei-jin, or your, like, Anarchs to be, like, the Korean kuei-jin. Now, granted, those are very bad comparisons because each of the groups works completely differently, but they're, like, huge different organizations within the kuei-jin are the different countries, almost.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do they still have, like, a central authority that controls all of the kuei-jin, or...?
No. They are very, very much so drawn between country borders.
Okay.
In Asia, actually, a lot of things happen like that. Like,
within countries, they are fairly unified.
Within countries, they're fairly unified. Because, like, even Ryan said he was going to try to contact the Beast Courts. The Beast Courts are basically all the changing breeds in a country. They usually get along. So, like, unlike in the United States, where, like, werewolves would want to fight the Beset or would want to fight the Korvax, they wouldn't necessarily get along, and they'd each have their own organizations. In Asia, in particular, the Beast Courts are effectively like neutral meeting grounds where all these groups can get together. So the Japanese werewolves and, like, the Japanese, like, Korvax, they can have meetings and keep at peace. But each of these Beast Courts is to their own country, too.
Just gonna interject here really quick. I know you were saying... I figured out you were saying courts. Like, C-O-U-R-T. For a while there, I thought you were saying quartz.
Oh.
I like
They
that.
have their own quotes.
Their own quartz. They all gather around a very large salt quartz deposit.
I prefer,
It
Get
represents-
stoned.
I prefer quartz emerald deposits.
I swear to God. Why?
This is
Why did I
one
miss
character
this?
that gets points for puns.
Free pun points.
We need to just add a pun thing under knowledges or mental attributes. And just give Nathan a maxed out stat in that.
Yup.
That would rock.
I hate you, shut up.
All right.
Actually, you're awesome. Let's go get our translator.
Okay.
Yep.
Why don't we take our break here? It's a good point to do it. We can come back.
How was that 50 minutes?
It was 50 minutes.
Wow.
It's really been that time. It's 5 minutes to 3, so it's a perfect time to have a break before we get into the next part here, getting like a translator meeting with them.
Because talking takes for frigging ever when I do it.
Also, there's a lot of back and forth and a lot of information dump too that happens. Like you're like, oh hey, this person has this little bit of information. Combine that with the little information you had before.
I'm glad Carpe takes good notes because I zone out a lot during these.
I honestly take very bad notes when I look back at them. And I'm like, oh no, he said something else about that guy. Shit, what was it?
Anyway, if you need to grab a snack, drink, go to the bathroom, anything like that, go ahead and do it. We'll be back in a little bit here to continue the adventures and to go talk with another person. So, see you in a minute, folks. All right, we're back from our break. As we dive back into it. So the new plan is to go and see if you can get a translator through Miss Shibasaki.
Mm-hmm. Miss Shibasaki-san.
Mm-hmm. Shibasaki Mayumi-san. All right. How are you gonna get in contact? Okay.
For the ignorant Western vampire over here, how would we address her? Would it be San? Is San's the honorific, right?
Yes. San is probably the polite way that you could use that you wouldn't know. I can't, because she's not, like, I can't think of any better honorifics right now for it. Like, that would probably be the best way to do it. Oh, excuse me, I'm so, like, weird and belchy now. Like, God.
I'm assuming that, you know, given the whole natural linguist thing, even if I might not know the language, I might at least know proper way to address somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
Yes. So definitely, that'd be the easiest way to, kind of give a little bit of,
Respect.
like, not respect. God. Word English bad.
English hard.
English very hard. Now, what is your plan to contact her?
Does she have, like, a place of business, or did we get a phone number?
I imagine we would have gotten that kind of information from Barrick.
Yeah.
Like, just basic, where can we find her kind of stuff. Without asking for introductions or anything else.
She actually makes herself fairly well known in the modern day, because she is a younger vampire, to be said. She ends up being part of the corporate world. She is part of the corporate world. So she currently has a public face. Something that she may retire from at some point in time, or place a, child in charge of, things like that. But for now, she definitely has.
You look just like your mother.
Thank you.
It's kind of creepy.
Oh, I get that a lot.
It's gonna get so annoying as a vampire.
All right. I knew your great-grandpappy, and you're just the spitting image of him. I guess we're just gonna go see her. Like, is there something special we have to do, or can we just, like, go see her?
You could definitely... You could either arrange an actual business meeting, which she does all her business, and of course, in the evenings or the nights. So most likely the easiest way to get a business meeting would probably be for tomorrow evening, like kind of a little bit after sundown.
Right.
You could try to contact her through the vampire world, but you don't have a lot of vampire connections here in Tokyo, is the thing. Your main one is with your friend you just talked to, with Preston. Granted, probably, if you talk to Helena, she probably could have given you names of a few minor people that would be in the town that you could talk to. But again, they're like minor vampires who are staying in the area that are related to Camarilla.
Mhm.
They aren't like anybody major. Not that you couldn't use that to get a contact with Shibasaki.
Well, let's find one of those, because at the very least, we might be able to convince them to translate if they've been here for a while.
Let's see here.
Fair
You'll
plan.
be able to get in contact with a young ventureman, Mr. Sinters, spelled with a C. I'll put this into chat. Sinters.
Okay.
So, I was given messaging that you wanted to talk to me.
Indeed.
What's going on? Why am I on the phone with you? Why am I chatting up things? And remember, keep it terse here on the phone. And if we want a meeting in person, well, we'll see about a meeting in person. And nothing funny or strange on the phone, if you get my drift.
Fair enough. We want someone to translate for us while we're in Japan.
All right. Well, I mean, depends on who you're trying to talk to. If you got someone on the younger side who might know a little bit of English, I could probably help you. If not, I probably not your man. I know enough to get by. But I'm only staying here on some business for a little while longer, so,
Well, who do you use as a translator?
Google.
Must be interesting business.
Oh yeah, no, your phone can do all kind of crazy shit nowadays. You're just like, hey, Google, translate the shit out of this for me, and it's like... and then it's like, it says something in Japanese, as far as I know, and then I give it with a good old... I start out with a good old konnichiwa, a little bit of a bowing, and then they're all on the... they're all talking on the shit about what you need.
Nathan, is this on speakerphone or are you holding it to your ear?
Pulling it to my ear, but he's talking loud. You can probably hear it.
Yeah, I've got Auspex. I'm just gonna like make a cutting motion with my throat, like this is not our guy.
Would you be able to direct us to Mayumi Shibasaki?
Oh, you want to talk to her? Business bitch? All right. No, I get you. Don't worry, she's all cut and dry. I had to do a meeting with her, and man, it was not pleasant. At least she just gave off this entire feel of like, here's what you have to do, here's what you should do, and that's the best of it. She's probably the closest thing to a prince this place has, and they don't got a prince around here. And very few people know about it until you talk to her and you realize that she's got her hands in all the cookie jars. The bitch knows what she's doing.
Interesting. So, can you tell me how to contact her?
Oh, sure. You could just go in through the business things and say, it's about the red paint. If you hint on that, then she'll know what it's all about.
Okay.
Then she's know it's going to be more on the side with pointy teeth rather than the side with flat. Those with canine problems.
Yes.
Really should get them looked at.
Thank you kindly.
Oh yeah, sure.
I hope your business concludes successfully.
I hope so too. I kind of hate this place. Well, you tell Helena. You tell Helena. She's a very nice lady. And do not tell her that I called her a bitch behind her back, because I did not.
Absolutely, you did not.
Liz is making a mental note. Just in
What
case.
was your name again? Mr. Sinters.
Mr. Sinters says he's tired of being sent to the shithole places in the world, though, and would like for him to not be sent place somewhere. Can you send me to, like, Paris? Or, like, London stuff? No, you gotta send me to Tokyo, where I gotta deal with fuckers who try to murder me at every hand? Or you send me to, like, I don't know, Australia? Australia sucks. I'm immune to poison, but everything is poisonous there. So you're going along, and you're drinking someone's blood, and you're like, fuck, it's poison! This tastes terrible!
How many times have you had a homicide attempted on you while you've been here?
Twice.
Hmm.
Granted, one of them perhaps was my fault. You should just know, be careful for the, what are they called? I think they go by, Haken? Haken. They're Japanese werewolves. If you insult them, they will try to tear your head off.
Hmm.
Also,
Was that the one you were potentially responsible for?
Again, that was my fault. I hadn't gotten hold of customs yet. A little bit insulting towards them. Do not worry. If you learn the customs, you do not insult them, you're probably fine. Other thing is, do not make deals with Yakuza. They will still kill you if they get a chance. Granted, I am nigh unkillable in comparison to them, which is my advantage.
Hmm.
But let me tell you, I was picking bullets out for a couple of days out of my old hide. Didn't know I could pop them out from somewhere.
Well, thank you for all of your help.
Oh yeah. I hope you don't die. I hope you have a good time. See you later. And if you need anything else, please see if you can get me a better place to get sent. How about Honolulu? People like Honolulu.
Hmm. What language do you speak?
A little bit of many of them. Thank you very much. It's my skill. Smatterings.
Hmm. Well, I will keep that in mind.
Though I am fluent in both Italian and I could pass off Spanish if necessary.
Hmm.
Look, Mama didn't raise no bad Italian boy to not learn his native language. Those of his ancestors. Especially when you want to talk to Grandpa in his old deli.
All right, now I'm picturing that he's been doing hand motions with his other hand this entire time.
He's been like motioning with his hands the entire time.
I hate this place.
He's just been like,
It's full of those fuckers that try to kill you.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you, Mr. Sinters. Click.
mm-hmm.
He seems like a charming gentleman.
Yes.
And that brings us no closer to acquiring a translator.
It does. We now know how to get in touch with Ms. Shibasaki in a slightly more direct way.
Getting in touch with her, yes, but not a translator to bring with us.
Varric suggested that we could get a translator from Shibasaki.
But we were also advised before that we should bring our own.
To Mr. Tanaka, not to Ms. Shibasaki, because Shibasaki was where we were suggesting.
Absolutely. Thank you. Forgot that. I'm mixing up my people.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the past 2 minutes didn't happen. Carry on.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I love how very subtle she is. The red paint. Exquisite.
And then she actually has to have a meeting with someone about painting something red.
Oh god, can you imagine?
uh,
Her what are they called? Somebody who like decorates your home. Interior designer gives her a call.
yeah.
Hey, how about that red paint you wanted? Do you still want that red paint?
Oh, there it goes. I was like,
I
Carpe
was a
went.
bit worried for a second.
Yeah, you went out of focus for a second.
Well, obviously, I was distracted.
Yes. Are you going to leave a message then for having a meeting with her tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You'll leave a message with her office. You will be able to definitely, like, if you, like, say, like, quickly, like, you know, I only speak English, you'll be able to get someone that can speak enough English to get a proper message left.
I only speak
So-
English.
I only speak English. Red paint.
Well, I mean, you're not, like literally leaving a message. You're leaving a message with a person, kind of thing.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
Also, for business scenes, the suffix you use is sama.
Oh, that's right, Sama. Yes, it would be, I'm, like, brain farted on that one there. That certainly would be the correct one to use.
And if they're a CEO, it's like, so basically super high up. It's shacho.
But normally, Shacho is useful if that person is actually your company president. Your president would. So that's like if you're with the company,
Okay.
you'd use that because that's effectively that's president. That's basically what you're kind of
Yeah.
saying, you know.
Yep. Anyway, so it'd be sama.
Yeah. It would be a respective person to someone in a authority position above you. Thank you for looking up stuff that my brain farted on. My brain farts on enough, like, English stuff, let alone, like, all the Japanese stuff I learned. Jesus. Alright. So, beginning of the next evening, you haven't seen Ryan in a while. He's still off doing his adventures. But...
Everything going all right?
I'm gonna send Ryan a text about what we heard about not pissing off werewolves.
Oh, they're fine. That's all he'll respond to you
Okay.
with. And also the same, oh, I'm fine. Interesting enough. Folks here don't mind bugs as much as some of the other places.
Do we have time before our meeting to get a bite to eat?
Probably.
We could also paint the town red while we're at it.
I like the way you
That would be a good plan.
I'd love to try the local cuisine.
But Nathan, I have these buckets of red paint here. Yeah, then Leslie's gonna spend some time and get a snack, get back to full.
Okay.
It's like, yeah, I'd love to try the local cuisine. Oh wait, that kind of stuff.
Just because you're off, like, a general, like, on a hunting. Let's see how well you do. Just roll a charisma, like, whatever the hell seduction would be. Probably.
Manipulation.
Manipulation.
It's seduction.
Manipulation, probably. Empathy?
Expression, performance,
I'd say
etiquette.
either you could probably do like performance or empathy. I'd say.
Empathy it is.
That's how much blood you were able to get. There you
Sweet,
go.
that works.
Yeah. That's all I was saying. Is like that's how much you were able to get. You were kind of seducey. You got a couple of like women who spoke broken English in a nightclub and got them to get to the bathroom with you one
Or
at a
men.
time. Or man, or whatever you wanted.
Leslie's all right either way. I don't know what I went into for a second there.
Well, let's say like one that was obviously a woman and one you're actually not quite sure. Not quite sure.
That's okay.
Either it was a very pretty man or very masculine woman. You're not sure which it was.
I needed 3 anyway from waking up 2 nights and showing off my powers to Dawn yesterday.
Yep.
3 works.
I will also do the same thing, probably in the same club.
Mhm.
Mine's just going to take a little bit longer.
Holy shit. Okay. There's a lot of empathy, I'm assuming.
You might.
No, performance.
Mhm. You probably would also like have to go to some like. You probably would have to go to a different club because you probably have to go to like a club in the red light district or something. Because if you're required,
I don't have to find someone that I need to pay.
Mhm.
I just need to pay someone who's willing to be paid.
You just go here, go get yourself some drinks. There you go.
And apparently, Nathan flashing fat stacks works.
Yes.
Well.
Always.
I mean, no, I can't actually, by the way, buy people drinks because the restriction is that I have to be paying for the sex.
Oh, so you can't even lie and say it.
Nope.
Oh, that's yeah.
Do you have to physically give them the money, or can you put it like on the table afterwards?
There has
So
to be an agreement that there will be payment made for the services rendered.
Gotcha.
It's supernatural. It's weird.
Indeed.
Basically, Nathan has issues.
I'm guessing Dawn gets the same amount of blood as Nathan did?
I mean, Nathan could also
Oh.
just share with Dawn, depending on how much he
Yeah.
eats.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
I can share 3.
That is enough.
Neil, are you doing anything, or are you fine for now and just not bothering? Or are you tasting the local wildlife? You're muted.
Sure, I'll taste the local wildlife.
Okay.
Go to that park with the fancy, cute little tiny deers.
Deer. Ah!
Oh no!
I mean, I only need 1 point. As long as it's sufficiently large, it'll be fine.
If Dawn sees or realizes this, she's gonna be so upset.
I mean, you have don't you have animalism?
Yeah, I
could
can pretty
just-
much just talk to them.
There's
like,
summoning.
hey.
You could summon a bunch of rats and then be like,
Oh, I
Yeah.
don't have the summoning one.
Yeah.
I only have one, which is talking.
oh, I thought you could arise to me,
No,
rats.
two
Ah!
is summoning. 2 is summoning. I only have 1.
See, that's what animalism is for, bringing your own meal to you.
Alright, so we're all back to full.
Sure.
Back to go to our meeting.
All right. Yes. So you will head to meet with Miss Shibasaki. It's going to be in one of the large high-rise buildings. So it's like a large company building. You'll be brought up to actually one of the penthouse floors. It's like one of those top floors. Massive office. It seems to actually have some kind of a clan symbol, above the main door leading into her office, as there's this kind of little waiting room there. There is a woman who you had spoken to on the phone that seems to be behind the desk. Will quickly say something to you in Japanese. If you explain to her can't understand it. She'll say in a broken English, please wait here.
Very well.
Okay.
Random comment, but every time I see Nathan Friend Zone, I always think Friend Zone.
Yeah. Well, that's why.
Aw.
Hey,
Of course, his wife is his best friend.
This Japanese woman, dressed in a kind of fine suit, what kind of you get from a female executive kind of suit, will kind of move out. Dashi no tsuki no yote wa koko desu ka?
sadly, we
あなたの特別なゲストがここにいます。
Can I do a natural linguist roll to try and figure out a general idea of what she's saying? General reflection?
Sure.
Alright. Where is it?
彼
Perception.
らは英語しか話せない。
Perception.
Okay. you kind of like are like listening, and you get the feeling that they're effectively. She asked something, the one that came out, and then the receptionist was kind of pointing towards you and referring to you. So maybe asking like something about who she was speaking to or who she was expecting, because theoretically you made an appointment.
Okay.
She'll say in like a heavy accent in English, "This way."
Follow her.
All right.
She's going to move into the office, which is a kind of large office that seems to have a mixture of various objects. Some of them seem to date back to like historic Japanese. Others seem like maybe of even European descent. Like some sets of armor that look like maybe they came from like an old European country. As she's going to kind of move in behind her desk, kind of do that kind of like slight turn and kind of like be looking towards you, you know, like as there will be some chairs that you can kind of sit in front of the desk. It looks as though like the desk is almost on like a couple of steps up too, so you're almost like a little bit lower down where the seats are, as if she's kind of like naturally looking down at you a little bit too. It's definitely like a mental power play kind of things, you know, like the mentality of like, even if it's like just like maybe like a couple inches, it's still like just a difference.
Leslie will bow to her and say, "Konnichiwa, Shibasaki-sama."
English is fine. It's one of the great things about my country is most of us learn a little bit of English nowadays. Enough to get by if we visited your country. Can I say the same? It seems at least one of you learned a little bit of the language. So what is it that you've asked me for here? Westerners? We are both kindred here, but we are of different breed, different variety.
We were hoping that you could put us in contact with a translator. We have need of one for another meeting we have arranged.
This is something that could be arranged. Now, why are you in Tokyo? Why have you come to Japan? Answer me this, and truthfully.
Was there anything we were not supposed to impart other than VtM?
I mean, we're looking to get in touch with the Korean...
Green Court, right?
Green Court.
End goal is to get in contact with the Green Court. We are aware that they are not quite friendly with Westerners, and we have important business to brains blank on the word conduct.
And so you come to Japan in order to find what? Kuei-jin, who would Uji, who would give you in contact with them. Is that
indeed an access, if you will? We were told that the Japanese Kuei-jin was more willing to work with Westerners, and we greatly appreciate that inclination. Give her another short bow.
Orokana Kiketsuki. This is both true and false. There are those here that would gladly speak to you into the Green Court for you. But you must know that each politics to their own. Just because you wish to contact the Green Court does not mean you would get permission from the Green Court.
We were told of this, yes, but an effort must be made. Our mission is of great importance.
What is so important that fools such as yourself would risk your lives? Your unlives.
Just another check. We, our true goal is fine.
Uh,
Have you guys told me about the whole end of the world thing? I don't think you guys have.
I mean, we don't really know that it's the end of the world.
Yeah.
We know that it's associated with some, like, predictions about the end of the world, sort of.
But since I've been away, there's things I may have missed. I'm not entirely sure what we can and can't say.
I mean, right now, our goal is to
Get all the
conduct
necromancy
messages
things
for
together.
Conduct messages for a powerful vampire to reunite his family.
Fair enough. A powerful benefactor has asked us to essentially deliver some messages for him to his family. They are long lost, and he would like to arrange a meeting with them. Unfortunately, some of those family members are among those of the Green Court.
Kuei-jin? No. Where would there be Kuei-jin that would be related? Then what? Akuma?
Those of the even more undead variety.
Nagaraja.
Nikugui?
Nagaraja.
Nikugui. You tread on
It is-
thin ground.
In
know
what
that
way?
there are many that are hated in amongst our kind. Some are for very silly reasons. Things such as the appearance of a Nosferatu, hated by those of us that have pretty faces, because they represented the ugly inside us all, perhaps. Others, for their own unique reasons. The ones you seek. Uh-oh. Shit. Shoot. Oh, hey!
Down underneath her desk.
There it goes,
and
there it
pulls
goes. Okay.
out-
Pulls out a bottle of sake. He's like, "Hey, so enough with the formalities. You guys want to get drunk?"
There we go. Died for a second.
Sorry, I took over DMing when you disappeared.
Karaoke.
No.
Eh?
No.
Go on.
The Nikugui, those you seek, are some of the most feared and hated by all. Why do you think they
Indeed.
fled to the Green Court? Why they hid there?
I was actually wondering why the Green Court would shelter them so.
They agreed to a few things. Those that fled there shall never create more of their kind. Also, those they prey upon are those whose time is close to an end.
Understandable concessions.
From what I hear, it is a grisly thing, as many feed on one, consume blood, body, whole, like piranha, sharks, frenzying upon a corpse. Except the corpse had life moments ago.
As you're just gonna grimace a bit. Even for a vampire, that's
That is why
any-
those that show up within the rest of the world are, well, hated, hunted. Not quite as
Indeed.
bad as those that worship Akuma, Bali, demon worshippers.
In any event, we must arrange a meeting with them, and for that, a translator is required. Is there anything you would need of us in return for this?
Your quest is crazy enough as it is. Someone that would be willing to translate for you is easy. Perhaps a payment. I run a business here. Money makes the world go round in many places. And in this case, it'd be fine enough to get whatever dangers you may bring about out of Japan, out of Tokyo.
Gladly. Leslie's going to reach for his wallet, realize he no longer has his wallet anymore, and just turn to Nathan and... could you... I have yet to...
How much?
She'll probably name like,
flat rate.
1
hourly
million
fee.
yen would be fine enough for one night's of translation.
That's
About
$10,000.
$10,000. Yep. Approximately $10,000.
All right.
For 1 minute.
Keep in mind, this is not a transaction for purely the services of one for one night. This is also as insurance, should the one be in trouble for whatever we have them speak. I don't foresee that being the case, however. Shibasaki is concerned with the
I do not concern myself with the status of my translator. You forget, we are of a different culture here. We understand that just because one accompanies you and speaks words that be understood, they are not behind the words that you say. So while you may be tortured and killed, again, they'd be let to go perfectly fine. Their alignment is not with you, but with me. They will identify themselves as proper to whoever you are meeting with. Which may I ask,
Fair.
who are you meeting with?
well, we would like to meet with Mr. Tanaka.
Genshi Inu. That old dog. That would be a fine thing to do.
Was that a respectful old dog or the other?
Perhaps both. She'll give a wry smile.
I see. Is there anything we should know about Mr. Tanaka?
Nothing that I shall inform you. Nothing that you shall need to know.
Understood. In that case, I believe our business is concluded.
If you would prefer we not meet with Mr. Tanaka, perhaps you could suggest someone of the Ichizen with whom we could speak.
They do not speak with outsiders such as yourself. Any dealings that I have made have been for business and business alone. And I would not jeopardize any future businesses with yourselves. So if you seek them, ask. Though perhaps... Perhaps there is something that I can do to help you. Mr. Tanaka is a good source for contacting. getting a contact within the kuei-jin community. But they may not be the only one that you should contact. Perhaps there's one you should talk to first. I can tell you where to find them. Whether they will meet with you or not, well, that is another thing entirely. The kuei-jin have their own unique system. As we of the blood of Caine have our ancients, they have their own. Different than ours, as just as this is a much more spiritual land, they are much more spiritual people. Something that Westerners such as yourself oftentimes disrespect, do not understand. I, who have in both worlds, can see where the changes are, where they must be at. I have to look something up because I will not forget it. It's go to Sensoji. It is ancient. Seek I gotta say this one too. There it is. That's, I think, the word I need. Seek, the Buddhivasta.
Spelled.
Um,
Say food.
It's very similar to the word to Buddhist, because kind of
Oh.
I know the word.
Bodhivasta.
Oh, Bodhisattva.
Yeah.
Here it is. Oh. Let's try Oxford Dictionary. Let's see how it's pronounced.
Bodhisattva.
Dunce.
Bodhisattva.
Yes.
There we go. Thank you, Oxford Dictionary. Because I was butchering it.
Yeah, you're pretty close.
I was still butchering it. Whether or not you'll be met with, beyond me. But know that if you can find some enlightenment there and prove it, many more doors than just Mr. Tanaka may open to you.
Well, another option is never a bad thing to have. I thank you. Well then, is there anything else, Miss Shibasaki-san?
For now, I've given you all that you need from me. You may go. I will contact you when necessary with the name of the translator, who will probably want to take them with you no matter when you go. And as to when you meet with them, it'll be up to them. Now,
Understood.
I have much other business to go to.
and we will see ourselves out. Thank you.
Thanks
Okay.
for your knowledge and advice.
All right. Okay. So, what's your plan for now? You'll be contacted soon with that name. Are you just gonna head back to the hotel for now?
Yeah?
I suppose so. There's not really much we can do
Yep.
here
okay.
without
I mean-
the translate.
Karaoke.
Hell yeah.
Just hit up a karaoke bar for
You could-
for Dawn.
Definitely hit up some
Yeah.
karaoke bar if you wanted to.
Oh. Well, no, I don't really know the language here. Never mind.
What were you gonna say?
Just something that Leslie was going to see about doing, but he doesn't know enough of the language to do it here.
Okay. Well, when you return to the hotel, Ryan's back. But perhaps before we get into the depths of what's going on with Ryan and what he's found out, we should have our second break. Again, a little bit early, but then we can get into everything that Ryan's found out if you want to take advantage of any of that. Actually, before we go, though, and do that, can you give me, like, a intelligence occult?
Gladly.
Because this is not going to be vampire politics, this is going to be supernatural stuff.
Speaking my language there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's not related to the Abyss?
No, it's not going to be related to the Abyss, and this is going to be difficulty 9, actually. No.
9.
Oh, yeah. Very difficult to know about.
Or is it just Leslie?
Anybody who can roll it, and if anyone wants to know about it.
Hell yeah. Let's see if my occult does
What
anything.
a
It
cult
does.
you said?
Holy crap.
Occult
Intelligence.
intelligence.
Dang.
Mm-hmm.
Look, Dawn has been studying the occult. She wants to do freaky shit.
Yeah, but I'll just say they're like, no, at very least, like Emil heard of stuff in passing. You know, like just stuff when you learned about kuei-jin. It turns out that your sire, when he was teaching you a little bit, knew something. You know, one of these obscure things. Dawn, on the other hand, has been kind of seeking out some obscure stuff and looking into it, and came across some stuff. Were you gonna roll, Nathan, or not bother?
I just have intelligence, so I don't have it occult. Can
Oh,
I just
that-
roll intelligence?
Oh, you can, but you default it, and it'd probably be a higher difficulty, which would be just 10. So that would be kind of awful.
Well,
Do it. Watch him just get 2 10s, or 3 10s, or however many intelligence.
one.
Jeez,
Hey.
Yeah, Nathan had heard a little bit too. Again, now Dawn knew more. The actual Bodhisattva, if it's referring to it in kuei-jin culture, is effectively those that have reached the highest point of enlightenment. Kuei-jin culture is all about enlightenment, to reach these levels of dharmas. If they can reach high enough, they can free themselves from their curse, effectively, and leave their earthly existence.
Oh, this sounds a lot like fucking. Oh, Scientology. That's
It's-
what that sounded like to
Technically,
me.
it's actual, like, Asian culture kind of thing, and, like, you know, Buddhists should do kind of cycles of reincarnation and stuff like that, but I'm guessing that's where Scientology stole a little bit of that from.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You too can reach enlightenment for a low monthly payment of $39.99.
But anyway, effectively, the Buddhistas are said to be those that have decided to stay behind and help others with their enlightenment. So once they've reached that kind of, like, maximum enlightenment, they've stopped their own ascension to the next level in order to help others. So kuei-jin respect them no matter what their rank is, no matter, like, where they're from. They are the most respected of the kuei-jin, and they also stay out of the general kuei-jin politics. So they are akin to, like, elders in your society, except they're like, everybody respects them.
Okay.
For a vampire getting into what would the general It's not a religion. Or is it religion?
What are you talking about?
The Bodhivistas.
There's a lot of like Buddhist philosophy in this entire thing. Like if you compare that when we're talking about normal vampire and like explaining a lot of stuff there's like, especially because like Caine is supposed to be the forefather. There's a lot of like Judeo-Christian belief system kind of put into like the stories behind it, and there's even some stories that match some of the stuff that like, you know, the entire reason like there was a flood. Its reason was to get rid of the first city and vampires. That was what it was there for.
Yeah. So what I mean is because Bodhisattva is from Buddhism. Buddhism is, you know, human thing. For a vampire that's getting into Buddhism, would that be akin to a path, or would it be more like
probably more
for us?
Kuei-jin have their own kind of path called Dharma, which is very like Hindu Buddhist kind of thing. Because you have to remember, in Japan, the two big religions are Shinto and Buddhism, and they have like their own version of Buddhism, which kind of takes from Shintoism. You know, like, so Japanese Buddhism is different than like Indian Buddhism and Chinese Buddhism. They're very similar and have very similar teachings, but they've like kind of evolved in the cultures they're on. Anyway, so yeah, like Kuei-jin have a Dharma, which is their path to enlightenment. You know, their attempts to like continue on to the wheel of fate. It's a lot more complex than that, because Kuei-jin are called Eastern vampires. They're completely different beings than you. They work completely differently. They're more akin to like comparing a werewolf to a vampire than a vampire to an Eastern vampire, to a Kuei-jin. The only thing is, they also drink kind of blood. That's the only reason they're compared to you. But they drink blood to steal people's chi, rather than to actually need the blood. They get the chi through the blood.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah.
So was that what we were supposed to learn from the role?
Yeah, they learned about the Bodhivistas, what they are. So that's, if she's referring to that, then she's referring to like pretty much like elder, powerful Kuei-jin who tends to be more neutral and spiritual, that would be like, sure, you could meet with them. Could you get their help? It's like Buddhist elder, you'd like have to think about it. Comparison to is like trying to convince them to like, can you help me out, like talking to your youngers and like being friends with them, kind of thing. It might be more it's like, it would be great, because then you'd have like, you'd basically be like, you'd get in with the Kuei-jin. But the problem is, it might be a challenge to like meet with them and convince them to, you know, to help. And it's probably going to be a lot different than like one of your elders who would want to make a deal with you or take advantage of you. This might have to be like, you might have to prove a spiritual enlightenment, or that you have like, you know, you might have to like actually go on some kind of spiritual quest to do it, or something like that, you know.
Well, we've done that before. I
mean, Dawn's the closest that kind of thing. Dawn has the spiritual adventures behind her.
Yeah, that was a whole thing.
That was the whole thing. Yep. You also maybe bringing Ryan with you would actually be a good idea for once on that one too.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're gonna take our second break, because that entire like exchange of learning stuff and understanding the Kuei-jin a little bit more happened, and we'll be back in a little bit with after a snack, bathroom, drink break, anything you need like that. Go ahead and get it, and see you in a second, folks. We didn't die. We're okay. We're only partially dead. Undead. Hi, welcome back. So we're on our last hour.
Only mostly dead.
Mm-hmm. Mostly. Well, I mean, they mostly come at night. Mostly.
Sir, do you have any of that blood to spare?
But dawn comes in the morning.
I'm so sorry I killed one. But I'm wrong.
It's great. Don't worry about it.
So, what is your plan now? Well, Ryan came back. That's right.
Oh, Tanda's back. We're good. Small F.
Just a little left.
It's just a little
Maybe
left. It's been a little bad here. So. Oh, hello! Welcome back. How was your adventures? What'd you find out?
Unsurprisingly, they don't like outsiders here particularly well. We appear to have acquired the use of a translator, which is going to be very helpful, I think. And we have a couple of different places we might go to hopefully accomplish our goals. What have you learned, Brian?
Oh, well, it took me a little while. At first, most folks were not really, willing to meet with me. Well, no, willing to meet with me. It's the entire thing of not only am I not normal thing, but I'm an outsider. So, my initial musings on what to go with didn't work so well. But then I met some a nice I believe they call him a Nuzumi or Nizumi or something like that. He's a rat man of Japan here. He was a very nice fellow. So we had a little bit of a conversation there. Turns out that they like it down in the sewers. So be careful if you ever go down the sewers. Lots of them down there. Wouldn't like it if you eat some of the local wildlife, so to say. Anyway, so we were talking for a while, and I told him that, I was in town here doing some business and working along with some the kuei-jin and some of the kindred and all those other weird supernatural things. And was trying to get in good graces with the locals, too. Just because we're visitors doesn't mean we don't want to be polite, you know? So after a while, I started hanging out with him, and that was a couple nights ago. So then we went out to some nightclubs. Apparently, they know some great nightclubs. That's when he introduced me to a few of his friends from the other groups here. We met a nice, calls that a Kumo lady. She was very nice, except for the fact that she wanted to devour our skin or something, I believe. That's what he told me. She didn't try to go for it, but I think she was trying to seduce me. And that's where the entire skin devouring would have came about. I think it's the entire thing that, the spiders, they ate up most of the insects, and I'm an insect, so they're like, ooh, free meal. But anyway. So then, after a while there, I was able to meet with, using some connections with our good friend, Walks on Earth, because, of course, Mr. McDowell, because, turns out, very interesting thing here, that, some of the groups, around the area here have had connections in with it, some of the, tribes, turns out. Oh yeah, no, go figure. And now, granted, the children of Gaia and the, themselves haven't really had as much connection in to the locals here. But, it turns out that the Glasswalkers had tried to build some companies here in Japan. Now, granted, they've effectively moved out. But Mr. McDowell was able to inform me of some friends of his who are of the Stargazer tribe. Now, originally the Stargazers were one of the basic tribes that were part of the normal nations. But it turns out that, for whatever reasons, they kind of hated some of the other groups, and, they moved to the east there, back in the 90s.
Okay.
They effectively joined course with the rest of the Hingyukai, hope I'm pronouncing that one right there, and moved to the east. So there's a big influx of Westerners in the eastern realms here, of Goru, from west. So, using connections with his old friend there, I was able to meet with them and get in contact with some of the various groups in the Beast Court here. So that was pretty good there. So I met with a couple of nice folks, a little get-together of some of the locals that was going to be there. And my nice rat friend told me all about it. There was, this big old tiger man. He was kind of frightening. I did make sure to, like, you know, empty my bowels before I arrived there very well, so I didn't really have anything in there. I would have pooped myself if I had met him after, if I hadn't done that.
I can only imagine.
Anyway, so apparently Tiger Man, who's also a Yakuza, which is really impressive, because he's got this, like, tattoo on his back as a tiger, that, apparently it's made to stretch with his when he stretches out to being old big Tiger Man.
Hmm.
Anyway.
Neat.
Oh yeah, and then there was these werewolves. I think they call themselves Haken or something. I'm not very good at it. The spider lady and this nice foxy lady who had a big fluffy tail.
Hmm. Hmm.
Anyway, so turns out there's plenty of them around these areas here, the big cities, though technically they are all over the country and stuff too. They do make some deals with the some of the other weird locals too.
Hmm.
But anyway, oh, and there was these bird people, apparently something, Tungu or something. Look, I'm not as good at these names.
That's all right, Ryan.
Anyway, there wasn't one of them there, and so they said that, you know, sorry for not having them there too. And that's when I met with Mr. Steve Rogers, which when I saw him, I said, "So you're not Captain America?" And he like laughed at me and I said, "Haha, funny joke."
Ryan. As wonderful as the encyclopedia of Japanese creatures is.
No. It's important. It's important. Don't worry. I got a thing here. So I met with Steve Rogers, not Captain America.
Leslie just puts his head in his hand. And
anyway, so turns out he's a Shadow Lord, because apparently, like, here in Tokyo, they have an ambassador with the Shadow Lords. Now, the thing about the Shadow Lords is they get into a lot of places, and they have a lot of weird connections, too. They're kind of a little darker. So, not only do I have in with the other groups around here, but, you know, the Shadow Lords, they actually have some connections in with the stuff going on in Korea. Yes. With their connections here in Tokyo, they've been trying to make in with the beast courts in Korea. That's what I was going to get to. And, you know, it was through that connections that there was this nice lady, I think, like May or something. I don't know how it's supposed to be pronounced. Anyway, May, she was that, like, foxy lady. And I had to get to the foxy lady because it's important. Because she has a cousin who also lives in Korea, moved there from Japan. Apparently, distant cousin, back in the World Wars and stuff, you know, not very good time to move over there, but leftovers. Anyway, long story short,
Too late.
Too late.
Sorry, Ryan, have you seen the movie Clue?
Oh, yeah, yeah, you're right. Good one. Anyway, so, yeah, so Steve Rogers and May effectively got me, like, a connection in with it, that if we should ever get to Korea, depending on how we get in with the other locals, at very least, I think I could get you passing by in the Beast Court for some protection.
Ah, so we would be your bodyguards then.
Yeah. See, the Beast Courts are a little bit more agreeable, even though there's some, like, you know, tensions between other supernatural things and such. It's because they're all about, you know, protecting the Earth and stuff as a group. You know, that, as long as you're not doing anything to corrupt the world itself, they usually, leave things good. But anyway, yeah. Oh, and, apparently, when I talked to, I did learn, well, some of the other ones, okay, not as important unless we go visit places. I'll give you that. But the Tiger Man, apparently, like, if we wanted to work with some of his Yakuza friends, he actually has some connections within some of the kuei-jin. Granted, it's a minor house, but apparently, from what I have heard, they work along with the Koga. I think they're, like, kuei-jin, like, ninjas or something.
Okay.
Is his name by any chance Tony?
I don't think so.
Oh.
I mean, I
We don't have Captain America, and we also don't have Tony the Tiger. I'm feeling a little lied to.
Please don't encourage him.
Look, I tried not to say it for a good 5 minutes. I had to.
So, if I may attempt to condense this down, the Shadow Lords might be able to get us to Korea, and May's cousin might be willing to help you out once you get there, and we could potentially come along as your bodyguards.
Now, granted, this is for your end of, like, working with the kuei-jin. Beast courts and kuei-jin kind of keep to themselves a lot of times, so I don't know how well you'd have connections there, but transport into the country safely should be guaranteed.
Okay. So, essentially, you've got us transport to Korea and safe entry into it.
Yeah.
And a place to stay while we're there.
Yes, because it sounds like it because outsiders of your kind are very, murdered. Before you could get to the meetings with the people you need to meet with, you might have some dangers. I think I've kind of smoothed those over, is what I'm trying to say.
That is fantastic, Ryan.
Yeah, see? That's what the story was all about. It was important, all the details.
You have a truly admirable ability to take 3 sentences and turn them into a novel.
That's right. He's
I
got
am in
explain
awe,
every
sir.
detail. I mean, I did find modern, like, supernatural ninjas for you to go meet if you wanted to.
Indeed, you did.
I do need another jacket.
I don't think these come with jackets so much as tattoos.
Tattoos, jacket, same thing.
Oh yeah, the big old tiger guy. He goes by the name Tora, which I think the joke is it means tiger in Japanese.
It doesn't mean Tony in Japanese.
If Tony is a tiger,
Tiger?
he's gonna
I
smile
think
as he
that's
says that.
Tony.
Oh.
Well, excellent work, Ryan.
Oh sure, thank you. Did my best.
Ryan, do you know of the Bodhisattvas?
Not off the top of my head. I'm just gonna roll some dice. I'm just gonna do that. Good old Ryan. Nope. Sorry. Gonna be more help.
That's all right. Perhaps they would care to listen to your story of your spiritual journey.
Oh, that'd be nice. Oh, hey, Dawn, you could share some spiritual stories too, or I could share some of your spiritual stories. You had some pretty cool ones also.
I don't remember all of them still.
Don't worry. I can tell about that one where you totally headlocked this giant, like, worm monster in what I think was the digestive system of another spirit monster.
Huh. Yeah, that sounds like me.
Leslie's just throwing a side. Leslie's just throwing a side eye at you.
Which
Yeah,
you?
A dawn.
I
Very much a dawn.
look, definitely sounds like something.
Or there's the time that you made friends with a army of pattern spiders and convinced them to fight the worm beast that we were going to go against. For once, the Weaver and the Wild were working together again against the worm.
I'm a bit of a revolutionary leader, apparently.
I thought cavern spiders would have been
No, pattern
with the
spiders.
Weaver.
Pattern spiders.
Pattern spiders.
Yes, they're with the Weaver against the worm.
Right.
We're more on the Wild side. Spelled with a with a Y. Spelled with a Y, not an I. That's the trick.
Right.
That if you spell it that way, you're getting it wrong. So you gotta know your triad.
I thought
I'm afraid this is Japan, not China.
Dawn would have been with the Weaver.
Technically, your kind is likely not with anything. But because she's kinfolk, or at least was before she died, she's more connected with the Wild and Gaia.
Sorry, because she's a what?
Kinfolk.
Oh, kinfolk. Okay.
Oh yeah. That means some
heard
kind of that means some kind of changing breed was in her genetics.
I heard nympho.
That's probably true too.
I imagine only in certain circumstances.
I was really wondering what Dawn's backstory was. For a second.
I'm still wondering what Dawn's backstory is.
Yeah, that's
Still
fair.
wondering what her backstory was at this
I mean,
point.
I probably shouldn't be telling you about the times that you seduced that Celestine.
What?
The side eye grows.
Wait, hang
Oh.
on. Which one's the Celestine?
High powerful spiritual beings manifested itself in some kind of form that best suited for what you wanted. You didn't mention what it was, but apparently you spent a week there together, and it was apparently a very good time. And in the meantime, me and the Great Lord Cockroach were reinforcing the spiritual barriers between that Celestine's realm and a wormhole. Not the teleporty one from sci-fi, like a giant hole in the dimensional space leading into a worm realm in the Umbra that horrible spirits and other things were manifesting out of.
I thought Celestine was a Tremere.
No. I'm probably not saying it right. It's a higher spirit type thing.
Like the Great Lord Cockroach.
Oh yeah. See, the Great Lord Cockroach is a spirit like our kind of things. You know, they're a little different. You'd best describe these as like
Angels?
Yeah, kind of like angels. That's probably closer to it.
So Dawn.
Apparently, I'm a lot smoother than I think I am.
Apparently you fucked an angel.
For a week.
For a week?
Yeah.
Although I can't imagine you would have stopped early.
Now, granted, I don't think we would have liked you. It would have been good time if it was like Luna or Helios. Those probably would not have been good there too. But there are other higher forms of beings.
Well, I need to stop writing these all down.
Yeah, no, that was a very interesting one because apparently, even at that time, you couldn't really remember what happened because it's the entire thing of you're meeting something with a greater existence in both mind and spirit than you. So really, it came down to your form and some things happened and you're pretty sure they were awesome and that's all you could basically tell us at the time.
Hell yeah.
My respect for you grows, Dawn.
Bet you didn't think the competition was this great.
See, the way I see it, you have your angel. You can leave mine to me.
So Ryan.
Don't say that.
Oh, yeah, hi.
Thank you. I'm gonna help you work on that. I feel bad.
Once we have our translator, I'd be very happy if you could join us when we visit some other beings who have apparently refused the higher plane.
Ah, that's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, allow me to do something that I just learned recently. So it turns out in our last adventures too, I became some kind of like king of roaches or something. I didn't know how to do much about it now, but I just learned recently to do something. Probably shouldn't do this in our hotel room. Let's go outside for a second. Come this way. Come this
right.
way. All right.
Leslie will follow him out.
He'll go to like a side alley next to the hotel and be like, "All right then." He'll just like let out this kind of weird like hard like noise, like for a second that'll kind of echo around, and it's coming out of like rather than his bug mouth, it's like normal mouth. It sounds even more awful.
Yeah, somehow that's more disturbing.
If this does what I think it will, I'm incredibly glad Dawn is no longer horribly upset by lots of bugs.
As you begin to notice that like all like the trash and like the garbage containers begin to just be covered in small black insects.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, still sweating a little. Well, if I couldn't sweat. Okay, though.
So,
No.
let me introduce you to, there's Jim, and there's Bob, and there's Steve, and there's okay. There's too many names to names. Anyway, Jim says that, everything is okay in the sewers right now. At least where he lives.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got questions for Bob? Bob knows a lot. He travels.
Oh. Well, let's see. How far does Bob travel?
Well, he's been around Tokyo. Or at least his bloodline has. There's technically Bob the 9,787th.
Huh. So they pass their knowledge down.
Yes and no. It's more like a spiritual kind of thing.
Ah.
Because
Got it.
technically speaking, the roaches themselves are kind of idiots. But as you address them as kind of like a group, you get almost kind of like a hive mind of understanding from them.
Oh. All right. Well, let's see. Do they know who Miss Shibasaki is going to choose for our translator?
I don't think they'd know that kind of thing of an exact person. They might not know names. Like, if you wanted to scout out an area or know about an area ahead of time, I might be able to get them to check that out for you. Or they might be able to tell some of the supernatural things. Like, they definitely know rat folk.
That makes sense. What can they tell us about the area where the Bodhisattvas are?
You want to know about Senso-ji?
Sure.
What would a cockroach know about Senso-ji? That's a good question. It's a really big shrine, apparently. A lot of people come and go. Plenty of good garbage, occasionally. Nice little tiled roofs that are good places to hide in, apparently.
All right.
Statues, things like that.
How much activity is there in the early to mid-evening?
Not as much. It's a big opening one. Since it's a big famous place, there's lots of, events and big festivals there. Really great when there's the big festivals.
Are there any big festivals coming up in the next few days?
Let me think.
Be right back. I hit Google real quick. Ryan just pulls out his phone.
We were in late March now, were we? Or we were in March now.
True, but festivals might be getting cancelled.
Yes, festivals might be getting canceled.
I don't remember when Japan started doing its crown.
Yeah. Well, most of the major things that go on are either getting canceled or kind of pushed back to something a little bit more private. Maybe not private, but like much more for like the public, I think. So at this point in time, probably not as big.
All right.
Go map. Yay. There it is. Yay, Google for mapping stuff again. Of course. There's the temple. There's probably the walkway. God. Oh, let's go satellite. That'll be an easy way to tell this apart. For once. Okay. So, yeah. Oh my god, that's... Yeah, okay. So, the entire area is actually quite kind of large and has a lot more grounds. The main temple is Senshoji, and it has, like, a large... Well, you can like kind of look it up too. The Kanamori-mon, a long walkway, a secondary gate, the main temple, and there's some like grounds of secondary temples and stuff where there's like forest land and stuff. You're assuming whoever you would look like would be off the beaten path, probably in one of the areas that are probably more private or not open to the public, like some of the gardens and stuff as part of the temple grounds. Not on the main pathway where there's a lot of like little shops and stuff, or the actual historic temple where people visit. So it's part of the temple complex that is Senshoji, I would say. Okay. God, I figured that out. Thank you. Once again, Google Maps with satellite view. I'm brought back to stealing a gorilla. Just like in my mind.
Yeah, a little bit.
Uh-huh.
That was good times. Good times.
It's the oldest temple and built to honor, it was originally built to honor Kannon, the goddess of mercy, though it has switched to being more Buddhist than Shinto. The more you know. Anyway, what is thine plan at the moment, then?
I don't believe there's anything else we can do until we hear from our translator. So... Karaoke?
Karaoke.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Karaoke.
Alright, you'll enjoy some karaoke, and you will get karaoke into the night, and you will get contacted by let me write this down under my notes for this. Yes. You continue to be really good.
What is it, charisma performance?
Leslie was not.
You have to remember, this is Japanese karaoke. So you get karaoke. You go to like a thing where you rent a karaoke box. So you're only performing for each other.
Don's karaoke abilities transcend language barriers.
Yep.
You can they probably have like some bad English songs that you can sing, Dawn. Ryan is just apparently a bad singer.
Aww.
No, Don's just going in on all of the songs.
She... the Britney songs. That's what happened.
Emil's one die. Yeah.
Wow.
Hey,
all right,
is that enough?
I'm assuming that one die is in charisma.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Damn, son.
I am not so completely tone deaf that it's deafening.
It's passable.
Emil turns into a bear and begins singing.
Yeah. You'll be contacted, though, a little later into the night by a man named Ryota Hidekazu. Are you Nathan?
I am.
Great. Name's Ryota. You do notice he's speaking perfect English. He speaks that, too.
Excellent.
I was asked to be translator for you. Just, this will be the number you can reach me at. Just contact me, time, place that you wish to meet with me, and we'll arrange things for me to be a translator there.
All right.
If you need some help making arrangements to meet with anybody, in any field, let me know also. I might know better ways to contact people than you would, or more polite ways when contacting them to make appointments.
Very well. I believe our meeting with Mr. Tanaka was set up by Mr. Varick.
Yes, you will have received a time and a time and place for that, which will be a I'm gonna say for that one, probably like gonna be a meeting like at like a warehouse in the docks, Tokyo docks.
Okay.
Probably owned by a company that like he has investments in, like
Sure.
in the mortal world kind of thing.
Should we meet Tanaka first, or Bodhisattva?
Well, how many days till the meeting with Mr. Tanaka? Or is it tonight?
I'll give you actually like it'll be a week. He's a busy man, does a lot of business. You know, it was a lot it was a lot harder to get a meeting with him, but possible. Time consuming, unfortunately.
Ms. Shibasaki suggested we might find enlightenment with the Bodhisattvas. Would you be able to find a good time for us to go there?
Anytime, like that's up to you when you want to meet with that.
All right.
Their connections could prove useful, although I doubt we could reach enlightenment, as she said, within a week.
I don't believe she was talking about the enlightenment that the Bodhisattvas have. Rather, enlightenment as in shedding light on information that we don't know yet.
Okay. You just to check, just figuring it out. It looks like it was probably early April that Japan declared an official state of emergency and lockdown.
Okay.
So you got a little while now before then, but you might have to start dealing with that kind of stuff by the time you're getting to Korea, who might be already throwing down. Another
Great.
reason that getting like a back way into the country through Ryan might help.
Mm-hmm.
Because goddamn, changing breeds don't really care about this. They can get infected, they just get over it. It's like, oh, I got a disease. Oh, okay, it's done.
Yep.
They're like humans, but they're extra resilient.
Yeah. They got, like, you know, super immune systems.
Imagine not being immune to diseases. Oh.
You're not also. You can be a carrier. Just like...
We can't. We don't suffer any debilitating effects, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, Samuel's, you know, spreading rabies to everybody.
Yeah.
Well, only the people he bites.
Which is rats, who he murders then, so it doesn't really happen.
Yeah, it's actually a good thing he's not with us right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
give everything
We already had
ratings.
the mass thing going. No.
Were there any tiny deer changing breeds?
Currently, probably not. That's the thing, is like there's probably been other changing breeds that no one remembers anymore because they're extinct. You know?
Probably because they got hunted.
Mm-hmm. Werewolves ate them. Werewolves were dicks.
I mean, yeah,
What?
but
Oh.
also there's extinct, and then there's also just guy hasn't chosen any more of that type in recently.
There's true. Guy occasionally like just lets something disappear. And there's a couple of like changing breeds which are really weird, which have small numbers which are out there. Or there's things like the weresharks who are just dicks. They're just dicks. They're like, land?
What?
Screw you, land. Shark.
I mean, if you had a choice to just be a shark.
Oh yeah, I'd pick being a wet shark, you know.
Oh, hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
You, nature.
Anyway, I
So
think...
I think we've got a plan. We're
Okay.
going to head to the Bodhisattvas to hopefully get some information from them.
Mm-hmm.
And then lots of karaoke and drinking until we can meet with Mr. Tanaka, barring other stuff happening with first group.
So, okay. And Werefloof definitely will totally show up then. At some point. But anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, that's probably a good place to leave it there. We did get some things done. Met with a few people, got a translator, got a way into Korea, which was probably really good because of, you know, a lockdown, which may or may not be starting any day now there. Still got a few weeks left out before Japan goes down. And then it'll just be a matter of, like, getting home or something, too. But that'll all be, or going to your next place to travel. Hard to say which is next. But anyway.
I know Leslie teased Ryan about being able to turn 3 sentences into a novel, but he's just as good as making a conversation last an hour.
Yes.
I mean, it was pretty much Nathan talking to, I don't remember who for the first hour, then it was me talking to Miss Shibasaki for an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was Brian.
I think my character said all of 3 words this episode.
No, I think you had like 2 or 3 lines.
Mm-hmm. And then Dawn Dawn was there, you know, doing some Dawn stuff, which is very important. And learning about some of the crazy stories that Dawn had for like the month or so that she was in like the spiritual realm.
Yeah.
Problem is with Leslie here, I'm no longer the backup face.
You're still above Dawn, though.
Yeah.
Also,
Dawn
Leslie's
is not good at this.
Leslie's good at spy stuff, but he's not so much a computer guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, when we do computer stuff, that's always fun.
That's definitely you.
Nathan, you'll be so proud. Leslie finally gained his 2nd point in computers.
Oh, God.
Nathan
He knows how to handle them a little bit better now.
Nathan still does not have any points in computers.
Oh, I have 1. Leslie.
I really should pick up a 4th.
Yep, you gotta stay ahead of Leslie. Don't let him catch
I
up.
do, though, I believe, have like 2 or 3 burner phones at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Leslie's not gonna be going any higher into computers. That was mostly just so I can use this smartphone and not ask somebody else questions every 15 minutes.
Oh.
See, that's what money's for me.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of fields I'm not good at, but
Anyway, I had to look more into like weresharks because I said they were dicks, and I was remembered why they were dicks again. God, they're awful. Anyway, we'll talk about that off stream. Let's go through our shout outs at the end of it, and then we'll kind of end it for today's show, and get ready for next week, where you will have spiritual enlightenment. Or probably not. We'll find out. So let's go... Hey, reverse order of what you did. Who did I start with? I started with Nathan. So we'll start with Dawn and go reverse from there. So, Jess.
I am Bubblegum Viking, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube tomorrow morning before D&D game. Gonna stream a little. That's it.
Umber?
I'm Bubblegum Viking, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube. You should definitely come check out my stream tomorrow because I'm fucking awesome.
It's true.
At twitch.tv/the Bubblegum Viking. Wait, no, just Bubblegum Viking. Is there a the? No, there is. Yes.
BUBBLEGUN.
Yeah. Twitch.tv/Bubblegum Viking. Also, I have amazing spaghetti emotes.
You know, it begs the question: who has Twitch.tv/STFU?
Oh, you know what? Good question. Let's find out.
And then Worm, as that's being looked up.
Sorry, you're just filling things out in my.
Uh-oh.
My brain went there. I am on Twitch.tv/DimeGrim, I stream on Fridays, and at DimeGrim on Twitter, where I've been retweeting about one thing a week because I haven't been spending any time on Twitter. Also, you can find me here on Tuesdays. Pretty much all morning.
Twitch.tv/STFU either has never been made or has been banned. I'm not sure which. Probably banned.
Probably banned.
Yeah.
Okay, and then finally, Carpe.
I am the CarpeDM, mostly here. You can find me with my nose in the newest Jim Butcher novel, which is amazing. Or alternatively playing Warframe on PlayStation. Find me.
Did you just pick it up? Or?
It's
I've been wanting to try it out.
It's a good game. I have too many hours in it.
I'm mastery rank.
See, that's what I'm afraid of. That's why I haven't technically tried it out yet.
Diamond, let me know, and I will play with you.
Very well.
on either PC or PlayStation.
Yeah, I'd be PC. I don't have any recent consoles.
No problem. I'll play with you on PC.
Okay.
And Tantus.
And me, Tatsnire Venjakoven. You can find me here most days. If I'm doing gaming streams, most of the one is like Friday for the group one. We're doing the Forest. Worms, Diamonds, and that. You know, otherwise, if you're looking for other gaming streams, of course, you can go on Thursdays at 8 p.m. EST, which is Children of Wrath, the D&D game where we play in a Magic the Gathering world in Dominaria. Saturdays is Discussing Tabletop, where we talk about tabletop. Sundays at 7 p.m., still EST, is Grinding Gears, where I'm a player, run by my good friend Joe, who's in a couple of my games. It's a pretty good game. There's some... he does a pretty good job. As a fairly novice DM, you know, mistakes will be made, but they're not bad ones. So he does a pretty good job on it. Interesting story. Definitely have places to go. If you're back with us next Tuesday, and if you're free earlier, at 10 a.m. on Tuesdays is Records of Evil, the Lawful Evil D&D game with a Cult of Asmodeus set in a modern-day Faerun. That's a mouthful. And, of course, you could always join us at 2 p.m. every Tuesday for this game, Legacies of Caine, where they talk with some people about a lot of shit, occasionally roll some dice, and, you know, travel the world having adventures.
And every once in a while, lose arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we got a grand total of at least a dozen dice rolls this episode.
Yeah. And I found out April 8th is when the full lockdown in Japan happened. I finally discovered that. So if we're saying that you're like early March right now, you got a ways before you have to worry about it. At least in the country here. So
Japan locked down kind of late.
They did get complaints about that. But
Yeah.
they actually had a really good lockdown and got a hold of it in like 2 months.
They locked late, but once they did, they were serious about it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Mm-hmm. So it's sort of like, you know, late to the show, smart about what they did when they did come there. That was a weird way to say
Lightning
it.
is correct. This is, you know, Legacies of Caine, where we talk to people, roll a few dice, and flirt.
Oh, you wait till we bump into Vitamin.
Oh, that episode is going to be a mess. That is going to be such a mess.
Yep.
That's going to be me and Jess flirting with Tantus the entire stream.
Into.
It'll be a thing. Anyway, thanks for joining us, everybody out there. Have yourselves a great rest of your day. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay sane. And hopefully we'll see you all here next time. So, but until then, farewell, everybody. Goodbye.
Goodbye.